Well, hello and thanks for joining. I'm Nate with Tuckaway Acres Farm. Today we're going to be building a welding cart. This will be the first video of hopefully a series of videos, not just for a welding cart, but for some other equipment, or I guess equipment, that we're going to be building here to hopefully make life here on the farm a little bit easier. The other pieces of equipment that are in the plan right now is, after the welding cart, we'll be building a post puller, which is basically just a front end loader mounted set of jaws to pull either T-post or wooden post out of the ground. The next will be a pipe or a wire spool jenny. So we are in the process of installing a lot of wire line here on the farm. If you've ever unrolled long lengths of 1-inch poly pipe or large diameter poly pipe, you know how frustrating that can be. One thing that makes it a lot easier is if you can get the whole roll to rotate, and so we'll be building a jenny for that. Ideally, the plan is to make it so that can mount onto anything with like a hitch, so like a 2-inch receiver. So we could move that poly pipe, or also use it for wire, like if we were building like a high tensile fence, move that around easily on like the back of a side-by-side or a quad, or even a pickup truck. And then after that jenny that we'll be building, the last item will be actually adding on to an existing loader bucket to put a set of hydraulically operated grapple or claw mechanism, so that it makes it easier to pick up debris, brush, old fencing, what have you. Thanks for tuning in. Now that we have our lengths cut to make 2 frames, one to weld to the bottom side of this plate top, the other to act as a frame, set a piece of plywood or OSB on to mount our 2 welders, or a welder and a plasma cutter. Not mentally mount that too, but for something, a shelf for those to sit on. We're going to weld these up, and then we'll get going. So one thing I do want to do on some of these pieces, there's quite a bit of scale on them. We're going to knock that off. I do plan to do this table unpainted. I'm not really sure what the greatest thing to do to steel to keep it from rusting. Obviously, if you use it a lot, it probably helps, but maybe it's just a light coating of WD-40 or engine oil or something, and then wipe that off. We'll keep the rust down. But let's get to it. It's a little dusty, so get you guys cleaned off. So now we're going to clamp this frame we built to the table centered. There's an intentional lip around the table just to make it easier to clamp anything you're working to the table, just to keep that kind of thin there. So we're going to weld this up, and then we'll build the next frame that's going to sit above this that will welder and the plasma cutter.
Well, some of you, most of you have probably noticed that this is not a saw made to use an abrasive metal cutting blade. It's just a regular wood chop saw with a 10-inch abrasive cutting blade in it. Used this for a lot of years, and it is finally quit on me. That's not overly surprising, because this is not the correct application of that. So we will at least have to pick up this portion of the project tomorrow, or whenever it is that I find a replacement saw. This is not my chop saw I use for carpentry. I have a chop saw that I kind of have dedicated to this. This is one that I've used previously and then upgraded, and it became, for this use. So yeah, let's get back to welding until we can figure out a solution for this. So, had I been smarter about this, I would have welded both frames before I welded the first frame to the plate, so I had a nice flat surface to work with. Luckily, I got a 1/4-inch plate for another project, and I will lay that on top of this to give me a flat surface to weld to. Yeah, we're all going to be because the part that doesn't blast before we product. I got to be closer enough to see Well, unfortunately, without the ability to cut steel, being that my carpentry miter saw that I put a 10-inch abrasive blade in died on me tonight. I know, surprise. We can't cut steel. I do have a plasma cutter. Being that I want this table to have very level, equal length legs, so that it's not real wobbly, I think I'll wait and not use a plasma cutter to gut those sections. Not that you can't cut them somewhat straight with a plasma cutter, but I don't
I don't think I'd be happy with how those cuts would come out, and I'd probably regret long term. So there's always plenty of other things to do. So for now, we're going to take a break on this, and we'll get back to this when we get a replacement saw. Thanks. All right, so my last saw let the magic smoke out. Actually, technically it threw a bearing on the output shaft of the motor, but that did lead to a bunch of sparking because the brushes weren't properly aligned anymore. So we went ahead and ordered a new non-abrasive metal saw. Got this from Evolution. Saw a lot of guys on YouTube using these. Seem to really like them. I think a lot of them get them from some type of partnership because they have a lot of subscribers, so they can get free stuff. This I don't have any subscribers, or we get a lot of views, so I got to pay with this with my own money, which is just fine as long as it works and I'm happy with it. I don't mind. So we're gonna go open this up, do the box, and put it to work. Hi, Buggin. Come on in. Ordered in the mail. Think it'll work good?
Yeah, I hope you don't shock my daddy.
What? You hope it doesn't shock me?
Yeah.
All right, see you later, buddy. All right, and simple as that to put together. That's cool.
Daddy, video.
What's up, bub?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, go tell her I said you can stay out here.
I said video.
That's fine.
I get the wagon.
Your wagon broke? You gonna fix it? All right, bring it in. Try not to bang the door up on the way in. Hang on.
That's the back is. The back is the
Pull in. What you got going on here?
the back.
Oh, you got a flat tire right there?
Uh-huh.
All right.
It's a front too.
Front
See
start.
the back of it? Curved back there.
This is flat too?
No? Yeah. This is
That feels okay. Just that one. What's wrong with the front of it? Just back because you guys ride it down the hill too many times? Okay.
Look how I did it.
All right, let's get the air for you. Here you go. Hook it up.
What did you say? I'm gonna do it.
Go pump your tire up.
What did you say?
You got it. You can help?
Yeah.
Look. Take the collar, pull it back. Now shove it in there. Hard as you can. Hard as you can. Hard as you can. Come on. Hard as you can. Go. There you go.
What do you have to do?
Now go fill your air. Go put the air in your tire.
What are you doing?
All right, this is going to be our first cut with the new saw, and we'll see how this turns out. All right, that turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with that.
Certainly a lot faster than the abrasive saw, certainly a lot less dust, maybe like more chips, but it's not like the powdery grinding dust that I normally get, so we'll see. That was gonna work pretty good. All right, next thing up to do is to take these edges off. These square pieces I built, or these frames, we want these angles to sit in here tight. And obviously on the inside of an angle, piece of angle, there's gonna be a radius. These 45s come to a sharp point. So we're just gonna knock those down so that we're touching tight on the inside of the angle, this angle iron, and not rocking back and forth on this point here. Probably doesn't matter, but you know, sometimes just taking an extra minute.
Are you talking to yourself?
No, that's a good thought. I'm actually talking to the guys on YouTube. Can you say hi?
Check on the camera.
I know. Well, they can't hear you yet because we haven't made the video. But you know how we watch YouTube? Who do we watch on YouTube?
Okay, good.
Kid Crew. That's your favorite. Who else do we watch?
Pete.
Pete from who? From where? What farm is he on?
I don't know.
Yeah, Just a Few Acres farm. We watch Pete. Yeah. Who else do we watch?
Acres.
Yeah. Well, we're Tuckaway Acres.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same.
Yeah.
We have cattle.
We
Here's
have
cattle.
oil right here.
Okay, old oil right there. All right, Jace. We're gonna do some grinding. You ready?
Yeah. Our new gun is over there.
No, that's a new saw, but we're gonna get a grinder out and start grinding.
Our new grinder. It's so cool. You see it? Okay. Come on to our house.
Oh, careful, buddy. You okay? You all right? Let
Ow.
me see. Would you scrape your wrist up? Does that hurt? No. You need to slow down. Let's pick this big piece of metal up. This is for a future project, but I know it's heavy, and it's easy to just want to leave it. Move it. Is that better? Won't trip over it now? We'll move this block over too. Why don't you, hey Jace, why don't you pick up all those small scraps of steel and put them in that? You'll have one less thing to trip over, buddy.
What? What's it?
That wasn't good. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to use these casters. I've got 4 of them. They're a metal wheel, swivel. 2 of them have brakes on them. And we're going to cut a piece of plate to go flat on this. This will bolt to the plate, and then we'll weld the plate to the bottom of these feet. Welding table. What are you making? I know, it's welding table. I know. Well, we're welding on a table. True. But then this will be a dedicated welding table. We put our welders underneath it. Is that a good idea? Yeah, you can help me with it. You All right, well, this is gonna wrap up the welding table build. I feel like I met my objectives with this. There probably is some loose ends that maybe down the road I'll tie up. The big things were getting the plasma cutter and the old tombstone arc welder under the table, and then kind of as a bonus, you know, I didn't even know that I would have this saw when I started this project, but then, you know, if you know, you saw the chop saw going down. It's not really made for what I was using it for, so I went out and got a cold cut metal saw, and that actually happens to fit under this table too. So kind of sometimes better lucky than good. In this case, it worked out. The one thing that I probably saved myself some time on that I probably should have spent a little bit more time on is the casters on the end. I originally was going to weld a plate onto the bottom of those angle with holes drilled on, and then bolt the casters to that plate. I kind of got lazy and said, I'll just weld the caster plates directly to the angle. That's more like 1/8 inch steel. I was going to use 1/4, so it's a little bit thin for what it is. We'll see. You know, if I just left them tacked on there for now, so that if I do want to change them later on, I can knock those off and then kind of adjust it. As far as levelness goes, it's pretty level. My floor is not perfect, so you might find a spot where it's not, but it's not rocking back and forth right now. So I'm happy with that. Decent enough work surface, size-wise. Added some hooks out of a 3-inch rod for cord storage. Those aren't really wound up the best, but you know, it gets the job done. So, tombstone on the end, and then all the power comes out the back here. The one thing I've thought about that I may still do is obviously this arc welder, stick welder, and this plasma cutter run with the same voltage source. I've got 3 of those plugs throughout my shop. Mainly I just use the one over here by the parts washer, but I'm thinking maybe I add a junction box so that both welders have short leads that tie in to like a double receptacle, and then I have a longer lead that run out and plug in. I guess maybe there's a concern there if you were welding it with one hand and cutting with the other. I've never had a situation where I needed to do both of those. I guess if you had more than one person working in a shop, maybe that could play out. But for me, I think that might be a good idea. If anybody's ever done that and liked it, or done it and hated it, let me know. And maybe that'll help me decide which way to go with this. But nonetheless, that's it for the welding table, at least for now. Let's get on to the next project. Thanks for joining.